Okay, so the stream has started. Now, YouTube is trying to hook up to our stream.
You look fantastic.
Come on, YouTube.
Stop. No, stop. You look fantastic. Stop. Stop it.
It's perfect.
She literally forbids me from talking about certain subjects. That's how far in the
Okay.
She's not allowed to talk about the time. And some
Or
she's
food.
or food. Like she will say, "I'm hungry. I want to leave."
I'm
here
like, we only have a half an hour left. I gotta go.
I was like, that doesn't sound good. You don't say stuff like that. You'll upset people. Don't say that.
Okay, Twitch is hooked up to our stream.
Yay!
I'm gonna move it on Twitch.
And finally, we're waiting for Facebook.
All right. So where's the link
Facebook is hooked
that
up to
I
our
can
stream.
share? Is it the one that you sent me?
As soon as he goes live on Facebook,
I'll send
he'll
you the
let
links.
know,
Yeah.
and then he'll send us the links. And I can definitely.
Okay.
message
I can't
it
see
to you. It
people
takes,
taking
like, a
pictures
couple
of me. I'm in
minutes
love with
for
myself. What is wrong
us
with
to
you?
Get on Facebook. Este es mi primo.
Okay, please.
Primo, what is wrong with you?
We're so excited.
We're just loving
Everybody
the
looked at your
space in the area.
profile. I've been listening to music all day, and it's been helping me.
Thank you.
Very intense feelings today.
Now, just so you know, we have Zoom set up, so you have 2 Zoom guests.
Okay.
Whoever talks, it automatically switches to their picture.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So.
That way, the screen is not as crowded.
Okay, so just for place setting, Ariel, we also have Dorcas, who is one of our co-hosts. She's in Rochester because our show and our papers are statewide. So we like to include folks.
Okay.
She's also on our committee because we have a committee that moves the project forward. And Amber is Ms.October. So this is actually the first time I've had 2 of my features on the podcast together. So I'm excited to see you guys get to know each other and talk. Sometimes my features, they don't get to meet each other because, it's month by month. And I've written about,
Yeah.
I think you're my 26th person.
Okay, we're live.
Oh, sorry.
Press the
Are we
button.
live?
Press the button
See,
and
this is-
Okay, now, Dorcas, can you say something so we know the camera's switching?
Yep. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you see how it switches to her? Okay,
How you doing?
good.
Yep.
All right, so you have a switch on.
Do I switch it?
No, you did the right thing. Okay, you got.
I know I
you
did.
got it
Thank
going,
you.
Tom? Okay. All right, put the
supposed to
clapper in
switch
front
it.
of your face. When you hit the clap, when you hit the clapper now, you are on the air.
Hello. This is an amazing show. My name is Talia Rodriguez, and I have the privilege here to be with basically my family, interviewing our October feature. And I'm going to let everybody go around and introduce themselves, but we're going to spend some time talking about identities, talking about Ariel, talking about Amber, and then also talking about the community that I support with Latina Herstory and Latinas in Business. So howdy, everybody. I know you missed me last week, but we're just going to go do introductions. My love, you're first.
I'm Jordan Velasquez. I represent La Cultura, which is for the community here in Buffalo, New York. This is
Wait, say you're my cousin.
my prima, of
He's
course.
my cousin.
I'll take over. So I'm Amber Martinez. I'm one of the co-founders of La Cultura, which is a brand here in Western New York, which is basically based around trying to unify the Hispanic community and especially representing the LGBT Latino community. We are missing someone named Carlos, but hopefully you guys can meet him in the future. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Amber's Ms.October, and you're Ms.October. Yay. So it's the whole month we talk about Amber. Amber's interview and my piece on her are live on our blog, and they'll also be circulating around the state, just like yours as well. Ready? Stephannie.
I am Stephannie
You have a
Alcazar.
welcome wagon, Ariel. You have a lot
I
of
am
fun.
Stephannie Alcazar. I am proud owner of Wonderland Soothing Creations.
She's also our co-host and my best friend.
I'm Nishi, or Anisha Marie Pagan, and I represent Chilled Buffalo.
Yes, and she's also my friend. So we're so excited to talk with you. You're the first person I've written about that's outside of Western New York. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and take a little extra time if you want. Say who you are and where you're from and just anything else you want to share before we get into the questions. Oh, wait, Dorcas, did you introduce yourself?
No, she didn't.
This is what I'm saying. Dorcas, introduce yourself, please. And then Ariel, you're next. I'm sorry. We want to make sure that you get everybody who's welcoming you. Dorcas,
Can you hear me?
introduce yourself? Yes, my love.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Dorcas. I'm the owner of Romans Painting and Renovation, also the owner of Travel Faith, which is a travel agency, and also the owner of Tabitha Design, which is a shirt company.
And she makes our amazing shirts, which
Yes, she
say
does.
Latina CEO or Latinas in Business New York driving Latina Enterprise. I made that one up. All right, so Ariel, you have the floor. It's all yours. Take as much time as you want. We're so excited to interview you, and we're going to try to stick to the same type of questions, but it's all about you, your identity, and sharing your music and us celebrating you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Well, my name is Ariel. I am a singer-songwriter based in the Poconos, Pennsylvania. I've been doing this for a few years, since 2019. I'm working on an album right now, and I grew up in a Puerto Rican Spanish household. I sadly don't know Spanish as of yet, but that's something that is a priority for me to learn. But I am 23, and yeah.
I love how old you are. I think that's so cool because you're so ambitious.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I actually got connected to you by someone who is a mutual connection of ours. And I was so excited when he told me about you. I was looking, I had actually put his Facebook status up, and I was like, are there any Latina artists out there? Because Western New York and Ameren, the rest, Christian, and everybody can tell you we're just limited, right? And like how people dream here in a way. So seeing you be so young and an artist was really inspiring. And I know that our audience wants to know certain things about you and less about me. So first question always is, what is the name of your music, your artistry, or your business, and like why did you choose it? And then we can give everybody time to do reflections if you feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So my artist name is very similar to my name. It's Ariel instead of Ariel. I only did a slight change because I wanted something that can sound better in my ears, but when it's spelled out, it's aHriel. So when people see it, they say it correctly, which is technically how it's supposed to be said anyway. But my parents named me Ariel, aRiel, but they've called me Ariel ever since after that day. So I grew up that same way, but there was one person who always called me Ariel, and I really liked how it sounded. So when I was thinking about a name for, what to call myself as an artist, how do I want to hear people say my name? How do I want people to read my name? How do I want people to see my name? I just came up with that, and I was honestly really happy about it. So I wasn't too much on the thinking part, but it definitely is something that makes me very happy and something that is important to me.
Do you know what it means?
When I had to look it up, it means the lion of the sun, or the son of the lion, something like that.
That's cool. I'm going to give everybody time to just reflect on what you shared and give any input if they want. So, Christian, you want to start with you?
Christian? Jordan?
Wait, Jordan, I'm sorry. I'm so tired. Why did I call you Christian?
No, but I do have a question. Because
Sorry,
I noticed
Jordan.
you did say you don't speak Spanish. What kind of area did you grow up in? Like, who did you grow up with? Your surroundings? Like, what kind of group of people? Like, what kind of helped you grow up pretty much to just speaking English? Did your parents speak Spanish in the house, or?
So I grew up with my family constantly being around. We either lived with family or it was just my sister and I and my parents. But my parents and my grandmother and my aunt, they would speak Spanish to each other only sometimes. So it was really primary English in the house. There would only be, times here and there where they would speak Spanish, which was usually we don't want the kids to understand what we're saying. So most of my cousins and I, we don't really speak that much Spanish. We can understand more than we speak, but it was primarily just all English. It wasn't something that was a priority for us to learn, which I wish it was, because as a Puerto Rican myself, I love the Spanish language, how it sounds and just everything about it. And it's important for me to be able to speak to others, and especially learning other dialects. Just being able to have that foundation, it'll help me understand more and make it easier to speak to other people, you know, whether they're Ecuadorian, Spaniard, or Mexican, or anything that has a Spanish foundation for language. But it was always family. I didn't grow up around a lot of friends, and the friends that I did have around me, we all spoke English. So I was raised for the first 5 years of my life in Queens, New York, for Rockaway. And then my parents moved us up here to Pennsylvania. And ever since then, you know, I grew up in a predominantly white, you know, neighborhood, school. So it was really just all primary English my whole life.
Okay.
That's pretty common.
Yeah.
That's pretty common, especially nowadays with like Puerto Ricans and stuff. Like I have many friends who are Puerto Rican and don't speak English. I think I started learning Spanish when I was 23. And then I just started hanging out with a lot of people who spoke Spanish, and I had no other choice but to learn. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean that if you wanted to learn, that's a good way. Of course, I'm sure you listen to Bad Bunny and all these other artists and stuff.
Listen, my first job, well, not my first job, but one of my first like state jobs, I was bilingual.
We all check that box.
I was
at times.
bilingual, and I definitely had no choice but to learn. I had a student fresh from Puerto Rico, and I'm like, hola, ¿cómo está? I pulled out that 7th, 8th grade Spanish, and I definitely had no choice but to learn. So I definitely get that.
So I'm white, and my mom doesn't speak Spanish, and Spanish was not even like a thing that I was expected to know, because it wasn't useful like in like the suburbs. I was like sent to AP English class, studying British literature. So definitely very empathetic about your language fluidity. And I think as an artist, right, because I want to talk about your music, I think you do an amazing job expressing yourself, and many people here will tell you that. I feel like that is a different process in Spanish. So just wanted to come back to this process of questions we were going to ask you. Stephannie, do you want to ask the next question? The next question always is, why do you feel like your business or your artistry is special?
What's different about it?
Yeah, like what's unique? Like what motivated you to be like, you know what, me, myself, I'm a musician?
Well, growing up, I always was drawn to music. I have been singing since I literally can remember. My family on my dad's side is really big into music. They either sing or play an instrument or both. I have an uncle that plays about like 12 different instruments, and he sings, he records. He's been recording himself since cassettes and everything. So he's been doing it for a really long time, but he just does it as a hobby. My great-grandfather used to write poems and songs for my great-grandmother, and I had only just learned about that probably within the last 3 years. And I actually got a hold of the binder of all his songs, but they're all in Spanish. So another reason why I want to learn. Yeah. But when it comes to my music, I feel like there's such a big lack in people expressing themselves and finding a release in music, using it as somewhere where they can, you know, talk to someone, but they're really talking to themselves when they're first recording, and then they get to share that and connect with people who are going through similar experiences. And that's what I want to do. My music is for me, but it's also for other people who I know want that kind of music, where sometimes you just want to listen to something that can encourage you to cry, or something that can encourage you to, like, you know, I've been having a really rough day, I want to feel better, or, you know, I've been feeling like I need more self-love, let me listen to a song that is about self-love or finding myself and things like that. And with everything that I've been learning about self-love and healing and, accepting my traumas, working through them, I've learned it's important to talk about it. And my form of communication for that and release is my music. And I feel like we don't have a lot of that. And I grew up really big on 90s and 2000s R&B where, it was all about love and expressing yourself and, heartbreaks. And I've always loved that, but I wanted to bring something different to the table. And what I'm trying to do now is, through my healing and spiritual journey, bring that into music as well. Talk about, healing with traumas and talking about, looking at yourself in the mirror, how you perceive yourself and how you need to separate your views of yourself from other people. And that's why I feel like it's really important for me to get my music out there and continue to make music, because it's something that we really don't have right now and we really need it.
Yeah. So I wanted to speak on that. I think that's a good point you bring when it comes to music, because if we all know, music is the cure for everything. So what you said, when it helps you speak yourself, sometimes we can't speak it to other, and music is the only way you can express yourself. And it's because music is the cure of I feel like there's a music for every situation that we go through in life. And when we click with a certain amount of music, you can pretend, oh, I went through that music, touches your heart. So that's what you're doing, especially when you said self-love. You're using the music, and it's going to help a lot of girls out there that are not self-confident to build themselves up with your music. And us Puerto Rican, the cultura, everything is music. We cannot do nothing with music. Like right now, we're going through the hurricane. You see all these TikTok. What are they doing? They're doing music to cure
That's so true.
pain. So I have to give it to you because it's true. The way of communication, 99% is through music.
Yeah, music is very euphoric to me. I know a lot of people have, when they listen to music, they listen to it to get through certain things, or to feel something if they haven't felt anything, or just to enjoy the moment that they're in. And music has always been that for me, but it's always been amplified, being that my family, whenever we came together, we were always singing. We cannot have a family party without karaoke. Like, we don't need to have a drop of liquor or anything. We love it. But it's a way for us to connect, and it's so beautiful when we're together and we're all singing and enjoying ourselves, because it creates these really beautiful moments of, sometimes we sing together. I sang my grandmother's favorite song, and she's not very emotional, because, in, Spanish Puerto Rican culture, it's very, very common for, hold your feelings and always be strong, always be the foundation, especially for parents, grandmothers, grandfathers. So being that I was able to do something in order for her to have a release of emotion and be thankful, made me feel like, this is something that I'm meant to do, and something that I love doing, and I'm happy I love doing, because it's like a gift that you can give to other people. And it's something so priceless. And I love that so much.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're going to share your music on the radio show. So we have a radio show at Buffalo State, and I'm super excited. And the general manager was super excited too, and I think she wants to talk with you. But I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to give the floor to everyone to reflect. So not to ask her another question, but to just reflect on what she said. But because we're all so interested in you, and I think in this space our conversation just naturally flows. But with your new single that's coming out, or that came out, that I've been listening to all day, the title, because you're saying that part of the message is like you're writing to yourself. So like, kind of tell me a little bit about that and like what inspired you.
So Waiting is mainly dedicated to my girlfriend. Okay. We have a very long distance relationship. I'm in Pennsylvania. She's all the way in Texas. So when I first heard the beat, the process of how I write songs, it just kind of came to me, and I felt like it was just so perfect for that setting. We have to wait for so long to see each other, and in having a long distance relationship, it's so important for us to have communication and constantly, be reassuring each other, but also reassuring ourselves, because it gets extremely difficult. We're not around each other. We don't get to go to work and then come home to each other and, talk about our days. So it's all through the phone, and both our primary love languages is physical touch. So it's very, very hard, obviously, to, cater to that because we're not with each other. So it was just a way for me to tell her how much I love her, how much I always miss her, how much she means to me, and that, I'm always going to be waiting, even though I'm moving down to Texas next month. But
you're moving to Texas.
yeah, a big surprise. But I just, I've been up here for so many years, and I'm ready to spread my wings. And she's super supportive. I have not had anyone around me or support me as much as she does, as my partner. And she prioritizes me working on my music and being successful more than anything else. And even like if I start getting too comfortable, she's like, don't you have music to record? Like, you have something to do, right? So it's honestly really beautiful, and I can't be more thankful for her coming into my life and meeting her. And I wanted to make that song and put it out also for other people who are, experiencing long distance relationships. And, when you're having a hard time, just having something to go listen to and allow themselves to feel like, yes, this is really hard, but yes, I love you. Yes, you mean a lot to me. And, I'm going to wait because you're worth it. This is worth it. And this is what I want. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make this work on both sides.
Awesome.
That sounds like a song I'm going to down.
It's good. I've been listening to it all day because I've been having some strong feelings because of everything that's going on the island and some other stuff I'm dealing with. So it's just been good for me to process. Amber, do you have any reflections? You want to share anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. The only thing I can think about was like, she's not gonna be waiting no more because you're gonna be out there house.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm gonna be with her every day. She's gonna get tired of my ass.
Tell them where they can find your music. So YouTube.
So my music.
Instagram.
Yes.
And what's the third place I was listening to it?
YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
It's on Spotify as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm so proud of you. Did you guys have any reflections?
Thank you.
Instagram music in the link below.
Download it.
I made it really simple. I know there's a lot of people are real lazy, so.
I know what too though. I do want to add. I think it's great that you're out here kind of expressing music or expressing yourself through music. Especially you being part of the LGBT community. I think it's really important because we need to just kind of let people know that we're out here. We're just like everybody else. We just choose to love other people, that are of the same gender, and like it's okay, and we can all vibe to the same music. Like, just like for your song represents your girlfriend in that move that you're gonna make. She can take your same song and use it, for.
I made it about myself.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is
yeah, exactly.
And like that's what we have to keep like in mind, moving forward. So I think it's great. I'm happy for you, and I hope everything works out.
And I think the best part
Thank you
also is
so
that
much.
she has somebody to push her.
Exactly.
Like, I have my own,
Absolutely.
I have my own business, but I know that without my fiance, I wouldn't be where I am at right now, because he's like the one that pushes me to keep going, to do something new and stuff like that. So I think that's really, really important to have somebody to have your back. It's really important.
Absolutely, I agree.
You were just, I think, in awe of all that you've been able to accomplish. I want to give Dorca some time. Dorca, did you have any reflections on what she shared?
No, she's right she's straight to what she wants to say. So the questions before you, I'm thinking about the questions. She's already answering every question that I have in mind, which is good. But your music, what categories does it fall? Pop, classic, reggaeton, like which one?
Right now it's mainly R&B, but I do want to start getting into different categories because I don't want to be just subject to one. I want to create, I want to be well-rounded and be able to work with anyone and other people to see that they can work with me, that I'm very fluid in my music. So, that's going to come soon. The album that I'm working on, it is almost done. So there's going to be more different sounds and different vibes for people to be able to enjoy and listen to so that they can, either want to work with me in the future or just enjoy listening to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't limit yourself. Do all types of music until you actually find your niche, I think
And you know what? That doing your music, because you say you want to learn Spanish, you can actually start learning Spanish by your music. Because I know a lot of singers that they can't speak the Spanish, but they're so good when singing in Spanish. So you could just start there and work your way up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds good to me.
I don't speak super good Spanish, but when I'm pissed, I'm La India. Okay, and I know those words. So I think one of the topics that we want to touch on too is like how you're sharing your identity. So much of the music is like about clothing or about things that are superficial or about things that don't drive our culture in a positive direction. So I love that you're using it as a way to like reflect with our writing, with Latina Herstory. I've done workshops inside public schools to help our students, especially our new American and refugee students, process what they're going through, the move and all that kind of stuff. And I know that you and I connected about one of the topics that I liked to talk about that I think I'm going to include in future columns, which is neurodivergence. Because I think that as I get older, it's harder and harder for me to explain to people why my brain works different. And I've been in places where people feel like that may not be a good thing or may not value that. So I just love that you're sharing your identity and your fluidity through your music. How has having ADHD like helped you or affected like your artistry, or has it at all?
It hasn't affected me too much. What has affected me the most is my dyslexia, being that, when I'm writing music, it can be very fast at times. My brain can work a lot faster, but when I'm seeing things visually, I'll misspell things. So sometimes I have to go back into my lyrics, or when I'm trying to think about other words and I can't easily just grasp onto them, and expanding my vocabulary to be able to put those words into my music is very hard for me to, keep them in my mind. And especially when it comes to anything that has to do with spelling or reading. Sometimes when I'm reading other people's lyrics, my brain is going 1,000 miles a minute. So I'm either missing a letter or switching it or completely taking the whole word out. So sometimes, it takes me a little longer, which I get really frustrated, but I have to calm down and just, take time and let them know, like, hey, I need you to be patient with me. I may need a little bit more time with this particular part of creating music or whatever part we're working on. So that's mainly been what my concern is when I'm communicating that to them, because I know a lot of people like to be on their time, but when you're working with other people, you have to be considerate on how other people work and what they have to either deal with or go through. And I think when you find that person who is understanding, it really does make your day or your week, because it reminds you that you have those people out there. But I have to constantly reassure myself, like, it's not like it's far from a disability. It's just how my brain works. And sometimes, if I miss a word and I say something else and I switch a word, I'm like, oh, well, I actually like how that sounds. Let me delete the word I didn't even say just now and put in what I did just say. So sometimes it does help, but most of the time it's a pain.
Do you guys have any reflections on that?
No, I worked with students in the Buffalo Board of Ed who were challenged in many different ways. And a lot of the time I had a student in my first grade class who actually was like a savant. He was autistic, but this kid was like blessed with being able to play a piano without reading any music, but can sit there and play the guitar and the piano. And sometimes a lot of people think that those are the things that are going to hinder you, but if anything, those are the things that actually push you to go further than what others can. So 100%, I'm all with you on that, because sometimes it's not really a disability. It's actually something that can help push you and help you grow.
Yeah.
I think also that being bilingual and speaking both languages fluently could be a challenge, just because like sometimes I'm speaking Spanish and like I can't think of the right Spanish words, and I'll start speaking English, and same thing for English. So it's like what is it called? Spanglish.
Spanglish, yeah.
I think for me, it's hard for people to reconcile the fact that I have those things and that I have a law degree or a doctorate. They're always like, well, how'd you get it if you mess up August and October? Because like I literally was texting Amber, and I was like texting Amber about I think August, and I was like, I just told her, I was like, bro, I have dyslexia. Like the words don't always come out like the right way. But I think one of the things that I really want to change as a mother is the way that we think about intellect, right? So I think that you are brilliant, right? Because you make music, and I think all the time they don't always value that. So I have a son, and he looked at me and he was like, Mom, I'm a good listener, right? And I stopped and I looked at him and I was like, AJ, it's more important to me that you're creative, because I feel like that's leadership. So like how has like being a musician like helped you in develop your own leadership? Because collaborating is a crazy process that I just started getting into, and it's very challenging. It's very challenging.
Oh my goodness. It is. I have had to go through my fair share of ups and downs when it has come to working with other people and myself. When I first started making music, I didn't believe that I can write.
Okay.
I was like, I can't write for myself at all. Like, I had told my friend that I was working with, I was like, I really need your help. I can't think of any ideas. And he was just like, well, why don't you try different things to, get yourself started on learning how to write for yourself. And I had zero belief in myself. I was like, there's no way that I can do this. I have never been able to do it. I've always gotten lyrics from, who I was working with, or just thinking about other songs that I liked and just changing the lyrics around from there. But, he was like, why don't you try freestyling and then writing, or listening to the beat and then just writing down whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be lyrics, just anything. And as soon as I started doing that, what I started doing was listening to a beat and freestyling from there. Even if it sounded crazy, I was able to listen back, write it down, and then change it from there. I'm able to write 2-3 songs a day, no problem. All my lyrics are my own. I have no problem coming up with, different ideas and different songs with different topics. And I'm really thankful for that experience, even though it was really crushing to me, because I was like, it's so important. And a lot of people were telling me, you need to learn how to write your own music. And I was like, well, I don't know how. And now that I do, it's something really, really big that when I talk to other people, they're like, oh, I have these lyrics, or I have a beat that has nothing on it. I was like, well, just send it my way. I can write and produce an idea, and we go from there. So it's just been honestly a blessing to go from literally not believing that I can write to literally being able to write 2-3 songs a day to anything, anytime. Or sometimes I'll just start singing in the car to nothing and just be like, oh, that sounded kind of good. Let me write that down really quick.
Yeah, that's dope. So do you normally just listen to an instrumental before you write, or just whatever you're feeling for the day?
Most of the time it's with an instrumental. Like if I'm going through really something really crazy emotionally, I can either start writing poetry and putting it into feelings and then making it into a song later, or I'll find, I'll go to YouTube to get inspired, and I'll put on an instrumental and I'll just write. And I make sure that my beats are my own. So I have a friend in California who produces all of my beats for me. So, there's no issue with that. But, I'll say like, hey, I'm feeling this way. I need this type of beat. This is the type of song that I'm making. And then I just go from there.
Nice. That's cool. That's what's up. Good for you.
That's
Thank you.
That's amazing. I mean, it sounds like you're leading in the sense that you're helping people come up with their own creative thought and like encouraging them to be more creative by like giving them the foundation of like lyrics. And I think that's cool because everybody puts their own twist on everything. And one of the things I want to point out too is like how far your music spreads. So the collaboration process is like you, someone in California, and then you're sharing it with everyone. What does it feel like the first time someone gives you feedback about your song? I feel like I wouldn't even take it. I'd be like, this is fabulous. Like, I don't even want to hear it. But like, it's like, I feel like it's like your baby, like when it walks, you're like, go, like spread. And like when people give you feedback, like how does it make you feel?
Most of the feedback that I've gotten has been amazing, and I love constructive criticism. So even if it would sound bad to someone else, to me, I'm like, there's something that I can learn from this. And maybe if it is just mainly negative words, I can pull something from there and like, okay, maybe there is something that they are saying that I can kind of like dig underneath and find. So it's not just something that I'm being angry about or kind of like, oh, well, you just are jealous or something like that, just making excuses. You can learn something from every experience. So the experience that I have had has been mainly positive, and it's just been, I just recorded a song yesterday with my friend, and he was like, you're so fire. And it's still like, I'm confident that I know I'm really good at what I do now,
Yeah,
but it's still just so amazing to hear other people say that. And I'm like, well, thank you. Like, this is what I do. Like, it's not, I don't just do it for money or for views or anything like that. I can care less. That'll all come later when, it is appropriate. But I do this because I love this and I don't want to stop doing it, because I want this to be the rest of my life. I want to leave my kids a legacy. I want to be able to take care of myself, my partner, my family, and, everyone around me, break generational curses and all move forward together. But I love when people are super happy about what I send to them, because, now we're not just making a song. It's like, oh my God, like I'm going to have this on repeat now. And I'm like, me too. I love it. Like we both love it. That's awesome. And that's something that we're going to give to other people to love as well. So it's always super exciting.
Now I know this might be a little left, but have you ever thought about like American Idol, whatever, levels or whatever all these all these shows that they got for like, artists, like actually I have applied to The Voice. I've applied to American Idol twice for both for both shows.
Again. Now that they didn't put you on, I'm never watching them again. Not like I watched them in the first place, but I'm biased. Like it's okay. You're wonderful.
I've had teachers from elementary school tell me that I should go on, and that was another thing. Like, being young, a lot of people are like, my family was worse critics than the people that I was actually around on a daily, which was surprising to me, because I grew up thinking like my family's always saying like, we love you, we support you in anything. And then when I tell them, oh, I want to be a singer, and they're like, well, you have to kind of be realistic. You have to have a backup plan. And honestly, having a backup plan actually makes you a lot lazier and going through with your plan A. Because you're just like, oh, well, if this doesn't work out, oh, well, like, no, like, this is my only choice. If it doesn't work out, then I need to keep trying to make it work out. But, I've sent them videos. I've, filled out the paperwork and put the whole story about my life in there. And I'm like, maybe it's just not sad enough. Like, maybe I'm just boring to them or something. I don't have a sob story.
No.
So, I'm just like, what, it's fine. Even if I were to go on and they were to accept me, I wouldn't want to win first place anyway, because after talking to a lot of people that have been in the business or have worked with them, or they have just done a lot of research, most of the time you win first place, they shelf you, you get signed with them, and like you really don't do anything or go anywhere. Like they own you, and they just, oh, we need to make, you know, a little bit of extra money and act like, you know, we're kind of pushing your music and you're making music. So just go do that and then go back home with your parents and, I don't know, play games or something.
That makes sense. I'm thinking about the winners from back in the day.
Yeah.
That ain't really.
And they always
really
talk
ain't going
about from
nowhere.
years ago. Yeah.
Girl, just get on for the exposure.
That's it.
So
Exactly. That's it.
Listen, Jennifer Hudson ain't winning. That girl, she went far on her own after she left.
Yeah.
So I actually chose you and pursued you, but I'm going to give Dorcas a second to give some reflections to what you shared. Dorcas, did you have anything to share?
Let me see. She said a lot.
I know.
I'm telling you.
And if you don't, that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm giving you a chance.
I'm like open ears listening, but the last part that you said about you were surprised that your family weren't your supporter. We've been in that boat, so we know how it feels when you think that your family is going to be the number one supporter of any of your dreams, because they say they will support you. But that's okay, you know what I mean? Because now you will show them that, you know, with them or with nobody, you're going to strive. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we're doing it for ourselves. You know what I mean? We're not doing it for nobody else. The music, yes, for everybody. But this is something that you want to do. Don't never let nobody, you know, dim that light down, because you will have a lot of people telling you, you can't make it. How are you going to get this far? How are you going to get there? How are you going to get booked? How are you going to put your music? You know, and what we do is we show them, we work hard so that we could get there and just show them. We don't even have to speak at that point. Just let them watch. You know what I mean? There will be a lot, because a lot of the people, Talia, Stephannie, and many other girls that are part of my circle, you know, are the ones that are not family and are the ones supporting us. You know what I mean? We're encouraging, we're supporting, we tell them when they're wrong, when they're not wrong, and we're not getting mad. You know what I mean? We have to be open to take criticism from people that are supporting us, because at the end of the day, you know, you're going to know if it's in a bad way or in a good way. So keep shining. Don't let nobody dim that light, and you will succeed. You know, we will fall, because this road is about falling. As long as you get right back up, that's all that matters. No matter how many times you fall, just get right back up.
Yeah, I will fail 100 times before I even fail 100 times just to get to that one part where I can succeed once. And I'm going to keep going, because it's going to make it a lot easier. And there's so much to learn from when you fall. And sometimes falling down creates the best song. So,
That's
hey,
true.
I'm all for it.
I always tell people they didn't think I was going to be shit. I grew up, they didn't think I was going to be shit. Like, I grew up in poverty, right? Where, like, the women around me didn't have education, they didn't have choices, you know, and seeing that was very stifling, I think, because it affected the way that I could dream about my own future. And I remember telling other adults that, like, I wanted to go to law school, and them laughing at me, like, straight laughing at me.
See, you got that suit dry cleaned. It's probably something.
I don't know where that was coming from. Sorry.
Okay. No, and I told this story in front of City Hall as the speaker for the Gender Justice Task Force at the Women's March. But I looked at the crowd and I said, nobody thought I was going to be shit, period. Like, my grandma has a 3rd grade education. So I think for you, like, just to be able to express yourself and professionally support yourself as a musician, when statistically Latinas are not thought of as leaders, or especially in industries of arts, like, it's incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all very proud of you. So I'm going to play your music
Thank you so much.
all the time. And I'm going to share your music. We're going to have you on the radio show. And I know everyone here is going to listen to your music too. I know Dorcas will be playing your music in Rochester.
Today.
Right. You're already
Sure.
You have like a, you
Thank
have a crew.
you guys.
You have a crew. And I'm really excited to be able to have this experience, because a lot of the people I write about I know or have had interactions with. But you and Amber actually, like, I've gotten to know throughout the writing process, because I actually started your column already. So it's just really
That's so
exciting
awesome.
to be able to have this experience and to be able to have both of you interface. So I'm so excited for the creative energy that we have in Latina Herstory. And I just want to recenter for anybody who's just joining us now, because we do have people that come in and out. My name is Talia. We are doing an interview. I have many co-hosts, of which I love, and we are talking to Ms.October with Ms.October. So excited. And you can find the blog at www.makinglatinaherstory.us, and you can find, and I think we talked about this, we have a Latina specific business directory. Because we are underrepresented in business. So that kind of grew out of Latina Herstory, and you can find that at www.ilibny.us if you want to. I think I put it on my Facebook, Shop Latina for Hispanic Heritage Month. So we are getting close to time. I want to thank you for spending your time with us, for letting us get to know you a little bit, for talking about your music, for talking about some of the things that make you unique and special, and, you know, for allowing me to write about you and share your story, because one of the things I do want to think about while we're here is that both your story and Amber's story are going to go to little girls that cannot get online. We have a huge digital access problem. So they're going to be reading your story, thinking about their future. So I'm just so excited to be able to share your story and Amber's story with them, you know, 1,000 miles away.
We're making history.
Thank you so much for having me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that procedurally I'm supposed to flip a switch, but I'm always awkward at this time, so you can jump off at any time. But again, we're happy to share all the content, and you and I can connect a little bit more to talk about some of the social media stuff we're going to make for you. But, you know, I'm Talia. These are my friends, and we love you. We think you're an amazing artist, and thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. I honestly really love this conversation, and I'm super excited to share my story. And I really hope that, you know, from little girls to grown women can be inspired by this and pursue their dream no matter what age. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it no matter what age you are. You want to go to college, you're in your 60s, go for it. You want to pursue your career and your dreams, go for it.
Exactly. Thank you.
right.
So
And with that,
thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Make sure you put
Bye.
you put her link on the comments.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
We're
then
gonna
people
link
can
your
find
bio.
her faster. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, thanks so much.
Thanks.
The audio. I have to wait until they cut. Dorcas, thank you for joining us. I love you so much. Thank you.
Anytime.
Rochester perspective. We love you in Rochester. What up, St. John Fisher and Clinton Avenue? You think I don't know? You think I don't know? And, you know, I was so happy to have everyone here, because this is their first time meeting me. So being able to meet me around the people that love me and support me is super cool. And I'm really excited to write your story.
Oh, I like
so.
this.
She's
Yeah,
I actually like this.
this is chill. We're here.
This
Holler
is-
at us.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous at
Tuesdays.
first.
No, you're fantastic. You're absolutely super good. And you're my cousin, so you're welcome to come at any time.
I love you.
Yeah, that's the rule of the primo in the Latino community. All right, so what do we think? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my headphones down, and I'm going to go check on our producers. But what I think is that we probably should all do that together, so that way we're just like all kind of unmiked. And Dorcas, thank you. I'll call you as soon as we're done, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Also, by the
everyone.
way, love,
Nice seeing
I
you
see you out
again.
there with your Puerto Rico and DR shirts.
What?
Hello.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I need
I-
one.
I gotta support it. Send me a
That's
link
right.
and I'll make you one. Because
you.
that money's gonna go to support with Yesenia.
Okay. Oh,
Nice, nice.
Pimental. Okay. Got
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Not live no more? Yeah, we're still live. We just have to grab the producer. I'm not sure why we're missing him. But it's 8:03, so I'm gonna go check on him. I think maybe we should all leave the screen.